Shalom, shalom, family. Judah Jackson checking in. I pray all are blessed and staying empowered. I'm going to continue with the series about 4 insights to help you process the coronavirus pandemic. And we were on insight number 2. And I want to share a commentary with you. We're talking about critical thinking. Here's something that I'd like to challenge each person to think about critically, especially if you're a person of color. But it is the recent findings of the Coronavirus Commission sharing that the coronavirus has disproportionately and dramatically impacted the African American and Latino American communities. Now, when I heard this, 10 flags went up in my mind about this. They are contributing it to the economic disparity and the lack of health care. And I'm not buying it either way. Now let's start with the lack of access to health care. Now, and I'll speak more about African Americans because I know more about the culture. But anyway, ever since 2008, the economic crash, I personally have been dealing with severe financial crisis and needed to get assistance to survive, and so I had to utilize Apple Healthcare. Now, all of this, they're talking about limited access to healthcare. That was BOC, before Obamacare, and I know that I've had the best insurance ever since I've been on Apple. I mean, I just, like, the last 2 weeks I had to go get 2 ultrasounds. I went to like the number 3 rated hospital in the nation on Apple Care, and because the COVID, my job was shut down, I have zero income, it's zero copay. So I'm not buying that denial of access to health care. Now, it is a different story if there's an undocumented issue that you have, and that might exist more in other ethnic groups. But and then they talk about the economic disparity because more people of color are working in service industry jobs that are closer to the public and they can't work at home. I'm not buying none of it. I'm not buying none of it. I see the theories and I see how it could make sense, but I'm looking at it from an evolutionary standpoint. And also recall that they said that the coronavirus originated in Wuhan, China. Okay, right there, what do you see? We're thinking critically. Well, what I notice is we're talking about the 3 most dominant racial groups, ethnic groups, I guess that would be more appropriate, ethnic groups on Earth. Chinese are 1/3 of the total population, not Asians. Chinese are 1/3 of the Earth's population. And for African Americans, and just people with dark skin, we have dominant genes. Dark skin, dark eyes, dark hair. These are dominant genes. And I'm going to talk a little bit about race, and I'm going to risk, because anytime you talk about race, you sound like a racist, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. So from an evolutionary, anthropological standpoint, we are the most dominant people on Earth. And a dominant gene, we're going to get into Darwin's theory of natural selection. And I'm going to just casually give you a layman's definition of natural selection. It's where evolution basically favors those genes that will be strong and can reproduce. So you see them selected over and over again because you have dominant and recessive genes. And so if anybody should be surviving, it's us, regardless of those circumstances about economy and health care. Because I think that our immune system and the way we're designed is dominant, is strong. And so 10 flags go up in my mind when I see that we're dying the fastest. And we need to look at that and ask why. That makes me think that this is not a natural evolutionary influenza, because we know viruses come in, they go. The Spanish influenza, the bubonic plague was caused by bacteria, but we know that these happen. But if it's coming through evolution, evolution has already designed us to survive these viruses and these plagues that are coming. So the fact that the strongest, most dominant people, and dominant does not mean superior, it means stronger, healthier, the ones that will survive and procreate. So survival of the fittest, they start talking about, and Darwin's theory. But anyway, these are some things to think about and to look at, and it makes me question, because evidence seems to be leaning that way, that this virus was man-made and engineered, and I think there's an agenda behind it. And if the most dominant, genetically dominant people are dying the most, something's up with that. It makes me think that it was designed to do that. So that's one of the things I just ask you to think critically about, is this this latest revelation of news that they're having. And whether it's true or not, I don't know. I know people are dying, and I know that in New York and a lot of the heavily populated areas that have a larger population of African and Latino Americans. But think about that. Think critically. But anyway, family, stay empowered, stay in faith, and remember, as it says in Daniel, no matter what kind of darkness is going on, temptation that's surrounding you, systems coming in, that those that know their God will do great exploits. All right, have a blessed day.